Tiana's Blue Bayou opens June 28th at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, and during the weeks following up that they've been having cast member previews, pass holder previews, and it's been a disaster. The ride so far in its preview days has been down, the sensors have not been working, animatronics have been freezing, people have been basically evacuated off the logs mid-ride, people get stuck on the ride. This is basically what they have. This signage is going all around the queue line and letting you know you're entering a salt mine. And they even make a joke here saying salt mines reserved for seasoned veterans only. I don't think anybody is going to find that funny. They have multiple signs of this in the ride. As I said in that video before, salt mines were created in pre-Civil War and during Civil War for slave labor. There were possibly even in other parts of the world for the same thing, slave labor. Even if you got paid to work at a salt mine, it's probably one of the worst, most horrible jobs anybody could ever work at. These mines were worked by slaves. How is Disney this dumb that they add this signage in this ride with these racist, controversial things when they closed Splash Mountain for supposedly the same reasons? Early on in the previews, there was a lot of breakdowns and people getting evacuated, cast members getting evacuated from the ride. And this is happening on a daily consecutive basis. Cast members getting evacuated here on a preview day. Look at that. And then just a lot more evacuations on a daily basis. We have people here getting evacuated high on top of the attraction mountain here as well. Another dumb issue that Disney made with this, and La Reina Crowley here is on top of these issues with Splash and Tiana on Twitter. Check her out and follow her. It says right here that this person that works at Disney obviously does know nothing of New Orleans culture. Voodoo was part of the culture, free and enslaved. To ignore this is true cultural insensitivity. And the Disney person here, the person that works there, says that it's culture and sensitivity to have it. Then why did you make a movie with those voodoo aspects in there? And why won't you at least have those parts of the movie in the ride? Because everybody's complaining that the villain here, Dr. Facilier, is not even in the ride, and he could have added a lot of dramatic tension at the end before you do the final drop. But in this case, because of these voodoo aspects, they decided not to have them. So that's another loss for the ride here, and as well as just a lot of just hypocrisy also. Here's a little moment where one of the animatronics is Gator character here. His whole body has frozen, but his eyes are moving all around, looking around. It's like he's just like, somebody please help me. These maintenance technicians and Imagineers suck. They didn't do a good job with my electronics. Here we have an example of how much better Splash Mountain was at theming, and anybody that thinks otherwise is just a clown. Right here, it says the strength of Splash Mountain was all the details at every turn, which now no longer exists. They covered up all of Splash Mountain set pieces with foliage tarps and turned off the lights, except for a few scenes they actually spent money on. So I guess Disney thinks by spending more on one fancy animatronic and a little scene, but everything else is pitch black, is better. Even they didn't even try with that one animatronic to give them an interesting story or lines. The whole story is about going to a party. It was just like it was a rush. It was a rush reskin and retheme of a ride. They didn't even try. They just got some, like, a few couple of fancy animatronics, and they think they were set, and they could actually equal the value of what was there before with Splash. And again, that statement is reinforced here as they say, honestly, what was the point of making them highly advanced animatronics? They don't do anything interesting in the entire ride except for the ending scene with Tiana and Louie. All they do is speak a little while flailing their arms all around when they go back to NPC mode. That's exactly what I just said. These animatronics don't even feel like characters at all. Like something creative, and that they have characteristics, and they're moving around when the guests are not around. They feel like robots. They look like robots that just kind of suddenly click on when the guests pop in, and that's it, and it just looks very lifeless. Here's a little moment when that they say, and like, look, she's just sitting there menacingly. Tiana, as you're going down in this section of the ride, it's so pitch black. You see a little light at the end of the tunnel here, and you see Tiana just sitting there, kind of all creepy like, until you get literally right up to her. She says her one-liner, and you move on. That is not immersive at all for a ride. The characters are not living in this environment without the need of, they need to be able to live in the environment without needing the guest or the log. They need to be able to just interact without needing anybody to just kind of approach them. That's why the Imagineers for this ride have to be able to be creative, have them move around, interact with other characters, and then when the people and the log approaches, they acknowledge the log and the people, and they say, hey, what's up guys, so we want you guys to help us with this, give them better lines, a dialogue, and it'll be a lot more immersive, because when you're away from them or you're approaching them, you see them interacting with the environment and other characters. They don't have to just kind of click when they see the people and the log, because it just looks very robotic and awkward. So right here, another good point, Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox both have so much more articulation and complexities than the critters all combined in Tiana's ride. And that's true. Think about this. Splash Mountain was opened in 1989, and all of the animatronics that opened there on that ride were state of the art. It looks through the video stuff on this ride that the animatronics in 1989 for Splash Mountain, even just the most basic animatronic, had more articulation than the stuff being shown here, where they like maybe just move at a torso back and forth like this, in comparison to like Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, where they have multiple articulation on their whole body, arms, torso, head, legs, everything. They were far more advanced, and they were better taken care of and created than this stuff here. Look how they just replace really good animatronics with more screens right there, and before the drop, look, just more screens, no animatronics, just really like it, just they're cheapening out on the screens. Right here where you will see those two vulture characters, iconic vulture characters there, saying, oh, so you're talking about the laughing place, is being replaced by this, like, they're just obsessed with this character. I think it's Mama Odie. Whoops. They're obsessed with this character, and they just take away the animatronics for a screen here before the final drop. None of this is really, you know, interesting or iconic compared to that. And then they just flash you with this bright light as you're going up to hide away anything, and or should I say nothing that is there, because they just couldn't think of anything or had the money or the budget to add anything or even the imagination. And as you're going up, you have Mama Odie again, because they're obsessed with her. She's like, let's go down here for the party, don't be late. Like, seriously, what an amazing story they came up with. And then this in isolation, yes, the drop is really fun, but without a good story, without good theming like Splash was, it's just, it takes away from the excitement here. So a lot of people here are saying that this is a better finale than Splash Mountain, and I think that is just a complete joke. What is the story here telling us? What is the value of this party? Tiana's not even in her iconic movie dress, just putting in a whole bunch of chaos and characters. There does not mean it's going to be better. And behind what's it called, the animatronics, is a lot of screens, a lot more screens being used. In the story in the finale of Splash Mountain, when it's the story of Brer Rabbit escaping his enemies, going back to his Briar Patch home, and then all the other animals celebrating his return home, while the Brer Fox and Brer Bear are caught in this like mishap, and they basically have lost. They lost this battle with Brer Rabbit. That's the story. It's recounting the story from the movie Song of the South, the animated bits from that movie. In this case, this does not even have anything to do with the movie Princess and the Frog, and it has a horrible song music that was created for this. It's not iconic like Zippity Doo Dah. None of this ride has iconic music, so this whole thing is a failure. It's a disaster. The show building and the mountain that was built for Splash Mountain belongs only for Splash Mountain, not for this woke agenda thing that they created this ride for. This is going to be a disaster. If it's been having all these technical issues during the preview days, it's going to have even more issues when it opens. That's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later.